It's time to get ready. Look, Don Peter, gentleman, Katt Dc, Prince Fantasy. Look, we're here to bring you some elevation, some education, and some new game. Why? Because we got the keys to the bag in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome. It's official. Welcome. We are back at it again. I'm so lit. I'm so super excited. Hey, look, I got a book out, y'all. Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
Congratulations.
That part.
Congrats.
Your boy is actually I'm on Audible, y'all.
Yes, congratulations.
You know, I'm on Audible. Y'all got to make sure y'all go to beliefiseverything.com and cop the book, Belief is Everything, Discover Your Breakthrough. Because we all go through things, but that 1% that you need to get to the next level is all about belief. And I go through the 7 steps, broken down to get you from the root to the tooth, from the ending to the beginning, and making it happen. So make sure y'all go to beliefiseverything.com and cop that bad boy. And like I said before, it's on Audible. So search Belief is Everything and get it. Quit playing. All right. So, it's super exciting. It's super win of a day. So, if y'all haven't noticed, we got Prince Fantasy and Miss Katt Dc.
Hey.
And,
everybody.
I'm your boy, Don P, the gentleman. And we are the ExoticPrenuers. We're here to represent and bring y'all the keys to the bag each and every other Wednesday at 6:30. Find us on YouTube anytime you want to follow through, and make sure you follow us in our Facebook group, Keys to the Bag Show. Now, I'm going to fall back because it ain't my show today. Guess whose show it is? All of ours. God damn it. It's always been our show.
There you go.
But the reality of the situation that Prince Fantasy has a burning desire to share some realness. And I'm all about the geekiness. So, with that being said, hey, Prince, take it away.
So listen, today we're going to talk about stay in your lane. You can't swerve. You got to stay focused. And a lot of us mess up. So today's topic is called stay in your lane. And that's what we're going to discuss today on this session.
Okay.
So, Kat, would you like to start off? Or would you like me to start off?
You can start off today.
We're going to start off in the front. We'll get greasy with it. So
yes.
I'll start off. So basically what the concept is, staying in your lane, that means you have to stay focused. If you feel like you want to pursue something in life, you feel like you have a desire and you're doing what you're supposed to, sometimes you can get distracted, or you can tell the wrong people your business, which try to throw you off track of the lane that you didn't stay in. So the thing is, how do you stay in your lane? And that's the main key. It's easy to get out your lane, but how do you stay in your lane? It's the main understanding of this topic. And by staying in your lane, the first thing is stay focused and stay humble. And once you understand that part, then you understand everything else that comes with it. That means staying positive. That means staying motivated. That means staying healthy. That means staying mindful and have gratitude. You can't let people throw you off your rocker because it's not their dream or what you're trying to pursue. Everybody's their own individual. And that's how I'm going to leave it like that.
Well, to elaborate more on what you were saying, staying in your lane is also staying focused on your agenda and not paying attention to what other people have going on. I think a lot of people get put off because they're so focused on other people's successes and what they're doing. It's almost like when you have neighbors that's competing, like they say, following the Joneses. And you get so obsessed with trying to compete or stay up on the latest thing or whatever that you get unfocused on what you really want. And then you start going over in other people's lanes to the point where you completely just lose yourself because you start emulating other people.
Correct. And go ahead, Kat.
No, go ahead.
So just to elaborate with that, I see a lot of people where in society what they do is like, let's just say they focus on their goals at the time and their success in their career, where they might have a child, or they let other people get inside their lane where they like, you know what, I'm gonna hold off on this because I have this going on at the time. No, you still have to stay focused. Don't never let anything stop you from being who you are. Your destiny is your destiny, and your destiny is your positivity. That means that should make you want to grind harder, because at the end of the day, you have another mouth to feed. That means at the end of the day, you see the reason why you're living and why you want to pursue these things, because you know where you come from and where you want to gain and where you want to be in life.
Do you think that a lot of people allow relationships to take them out of their lane and their agenda? Do you think that people start taking on other people's agenda and start to lose themselves, especially when they're trying to get to a certain place in life?
Yes, I do. Sometimes, like either male or female, it's not the one or the either one. Sometimes what a person will do is put their goals and opportunities to the side to help their spouse pursue their career and forget about themselves. Say, okay, well, we have an understanding. I'm going to help you get to where you need to be. And then we're going to build as a team. Then I'm going to come as a backup, and then I'm going to pursue mine. As I'm your backup, you should be my backup. But people don't get them understood correctly, because at the end of the day, it's really selfishness. And what I mean by selfishness, the other partner don't understand, like, I'm sacrificing what I'm doing right now to push you forward. So now when it's time for me to focus on me, it should be the same understanding with the universe that should be behind me as well. Because we're supposed to be balanced as a yin yang. And it doesn't always happen that way.
Well, I think it doesn't happen that way a lot of times because a lot of people are unequally, as they would say, if you're from the religious realm, you're unequally yoked. It's not, it's no balance. A lot of people get with people for all the wrong reasons. I think a lot of people look at things for physical or materialism or trying to get ahead in life, etc. And I think that gets them off track because, okay, I'll give you an example. Say like if you were going and you were trying to become a doctor and I was in the entertainment field. The amount of time that would be dedicated to both of those fields are so different that it's going to cause friction, because one is, I would feel, more of a conservative based, straight laced lane. And then you have the turns and curves of trying to be an entertainer, whether it be a rapper, singer, actress, etc. The entertainment industry is so different. It's two totally different perspectives and outlooks on life. And I think that a lot of times people, I think you have to sometimes get with somebody where if you're coming together, it's got to be a similar perspective and outlook, because somebody's definitely going to get lost in the equation.
True indeed. And like you said, like, not to cut you off, Kat, like you said, it had to be a similar equation where it has to have a balance. And a lot of people don't understand that, because at the end of the day, like, well, we have an understanding, okay, we go to bed together, we stay in the same house, we eat together, we pray together, but you still don't have the same balance because you don't have the communication and the goal set to understand each other. It's like, hey, good morning, love you, okay, I'm out the door. But the understanding is like, now it's like a person may feel like you're not being the same person, but you are. But the thing is, you might have more tasks on your plate to handle, and somebody's gonna feel unbalanced about that situation. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just about knowing your spouse and knowing where you're trying to get through in life as well. And sometimes you can understand it really takes that time to have that lunch, that dinner, or that breakfast, to have them conversations. Even a movie date. Let's just talk. What's our next steps? What's our new blueprint? Where are we trying to pursue to stay in our lane? I know what you're trying to do. You understand what I'm trying to do. But what can we benefit with each other, where we making sure that we be in each other's backbone and support each other all the way through it?
That makes perfect sense, though. I'm going to slide in on this. So I got a couple questions for you. So, Prince, since you elaborated on the going through the motions with your spouse, and if I'm interpreting this correctly, making sure that you take out quality time for your spouse so that y'all can have together time for communication purposes.
Correct.
When do you recognize, or have you ever recognized when there's a point of comfortable irritation? Yes. And what I mean by that is sometimes you get so comfortable with a person that now you get irritated over not them, but just their them being around constantly. Where that now you haven't had enough room to what does it say? Distance make the fond grow makes the heart grow fonder. Where that, you know, when y'all would go off to work, but you know, when he or she would go off to work, that was a little bit of y'all me time for y'all to recenter, to rekindle before y'all deal with the family thing and the kids things and all that stuff. Do you find that is causing relationships to fall apart because they are too close or gotten so used to each other versus not? And this is an open-ended question from Prince and Katt.
So I would say this much. I feel like when you get content, you messing up. You should always have some type of energy inside that atmosphere, because sometimes you can be so blind. Like, I call it illusional relationship. It's like you in fairy tale world. The reason why I say this is because you know you with the person that you in love with. You know this is the person you want to be with, and everything seems like it's going so smooth. But sometimes somebody might go off track because now you feel like everything going so smooth, and the thing, instead of going up, you actually going down. Because at the end of the day, you're supposed to elevate with each other. And at the time, like you said, you gotta have your family time with your kids. That is right. You have time with the kids, where we have family time, we play Scrabble, whatever. And we also speak to the kids positive mindsets of goals. Hey, listen, you're gonna be a leader. You're gonna be a guy. You're gonna be a boss. You're gonna be helping other people. You're gonna be blessed, and we're gonna have your back. But at the same time, even though you're doing with the kids, you also have to do with your spouse as well. Let's take this date. You have your date night, but it's a time where, guess what? This is your business partner. This is who you invested with for the rest of your life. It's that time with you and that spouse. Y'all sit down and y'all have your conversation. We know who we are towards each other, but guess what? You invested in me and I invested with you. So at the end of the day, we want to make sure that our investments are going right with each other, to make sure that our love will always prosper, and that we know we have each other as a foundation that's solid as concrete, not sand. Because everybody know what happened with sand when you try to build a foundation. It's going to drift away. So that's my per se to that question.
Okay.
I would say everybody has to have their own thing. A personal experience. There would be times when I would be all the way on the other side of the house in the room. And because my significant other was a musician, he would be downstairs in the sub-basement in the studio. Sometimes we would be separated. He'd play music for hours sometimes. And I would make sure that we would get that time apart. Even if I felt like, okay, if I felt like we were getting too used to each other and too much stickiness together, I would do things where we would have maybe 2 or 3 days where we might see each other in the morning, but we didn't spend a whole lot of time together. You have to find that comfortable space. You have to let men have their own area. That's why I always believe that men should have a man cave, or give them time to hang out with their friends, or let them go downstairs in the day. I would love it when guys would have their friends come over and they be downstairs or whatever. Y'all can stay down there for a couple of days, just come out up to eat, and do what you need to do, but going back downstairs. Because if you don't, then I'm going to find a space to disappear, because you don't want to get to the point where you're smothering one another. And then when you come back, there's a respect thing. I think when there's maturity and there's a level of being with somebody as a partner because you really want to be with them, certain things people don't have to tell you. You'll do things where you'll say, okay, I think my partner needs a little bit of time. Well, I know I need a little bit of time because I'm becoming grouchy or I have an attitude or whatever. Let me get to myself for a little while and give myself some space, because I know if it's too conjoined, we're going to wind up having an argument or a disagreement because I'm moody or I'm this. It's just like when a woman has that time of the month. When I said, hey, that time of the month, I'm gone. I'm in the house, but I'm in the room, or I'm on the other side or whatever, because I don't want to have my attitude spill on to the person I'm in a relationship with. So I think it's a conscious thing. I think that when you're with somebody, certain things, it'll work itself out. When you really love that person and respect them, you're gonna do little things. I think it's just innately in us as human beings. What do y'all think?
You, it's an interesting thing. I'm gonna shift gears in a hot second, but it's an interesting thing that y'all both operate in the same frequency of balance, like the respect of each other, the respect of the family, the respect. So the commonality is respect and mindfulness that y'all have for each other. Now I want to shift the gears a little bit. Now we got the relationship of our personal life. Now how do you really handle having people stay in their lane in your business life, in your professional life? Because by us all coming from the same industry, but yet we had different positions. I was the operator. Prince was an entertainer and a leader on putting the teams together. Katt was a leader and entertainer on putting the female teams together. You understand what I'm saying? So now I used to come across people that would try to not just challenge my authority, but try to create mutinies, try to undermine the direction that was making us profitable and scaling just because of ego. You know what I'm saying? You understand? So what is the perspective, Katt? I'm talking to you first. When it comes to, folks trying to get on, because each lane has something different. Like in the male end, there was always the poaching of the clients, trying to finesse them and date them. And then in the female world, there was the poaching or the roaching when they money throw, and they're trying to slide in and steal the monies, or slide in and try and bag mouth or talk bad about a girl to get into a different booth to get the bag. You feel what I'm saying? So what are some of the tactics and techniques, psychological or not, to keep people in their lane while you stay in yours? And then how do y'all really what is y'all total perspective on people that's trying to get in lanes that you already occupy? So there's two-ended question. The first one is how you approach them, if they trying you. Then the other side is, how do you keep your mentality together when if and when they do?
The way I kind of kept a lot of that stuff at bay is that I was always moving and maneuvering in a way whereas I never got too involved with per se the customer situations or the section situations or whatever. So more so, I always directed a lot of my stuff to stage or just moving around. So that kept a lot of drama down with me. Now, as far as with your teams or partners or whatever, I've always learned very good advice from my godfather, Sherman Harris, that used to own a couple of clubs in DC back, a few years ago, probably about 15, 20 years ago, back in the day. But he said to me, always keep 20% to yourself. Never give 100% to certain situations, because people change and money changes people. So if a person always expect somebody to want to move on and be in a progressive state. And I'm always pushing people to progress and move up in the industry anyway. So if I feel as though you're becoming a little bit too stagnant with me, that's how I have to look at it. Or if I felt like you weren't progressing in a way that was best for you, I would push you, or I would start distancing myself or going in a different type of direction to keep a lot of the drama down. But mainly because I've had a series of different partners and different personality types or whatever, I assess your personality. I always keep 25% of it to myself, or my emotions to myself. And I don't get, like I said, I don't get 100% emotionally involved, because money and ego can cause people to completely switch up on you. And you can't get upset with them, because at the end of the day, we're human and we're in an industry where people are trying to get ahead. And they have, there was a thing that I read not too long ago that says a lot of times it's not personal. A lot of times people don't have anything against you. They just trying to get ahead themselves. They have their own agenda. And once your two agendas no longer align, it's time to, you don't have to become enemies, but you have to know when it's time to kind of flip. How you feel, Prince?
I'm leaving. I'm done with y'all.
Make sure y'all tap into our Facebook group at Keys to the Bag Show. You can always follow us at keystothebag.com, KEYS to thebag.com. Because I ain't about to, I want to go and get him. So yeah.
Make sure you
come
subscribe.
on back, Prince. Come on
Make
back.
sure you subscribe. So listen, I love what Katt said because it is so true what she stated. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you take your vitamins as well. But back to the subject. The main thing is this. As she said, you only get a certain percentage of a person, because the thing about life is this. Then nothing in life ever stay the same. Not a tree, not a car, not a gallon of milk, nothing in life. So you have to understand, you have to expect people to change. And the one part that I love that you say that, Katt, thank you so much for saying this. You don't have to become enemies. And a lot of people feel like, oh, well, you changing, so that means that you change, we gotta beef. No, it doesn't mean that. I still love you for who you are. I still respect you. It's just I'm ready to elevate my life to something different. It's nothing against you. It's something that I want to pursue for myself. Just like it was you. And a lot of people get that messed up even when their friends or their partners, whoever they be, elevate, they like, oh man, you elevating this, that, and third. But they look down on them. It's like, don't look down. You should be applauding. Because if the shoe was on the foot, you would want somebody to applaud you. And a lot of people fail to realize, like, hey, I'm still the same person. I love you, but I'm trying to go here. You can come with me. I understand you can't come right now. But when you come, I'm going to have you with open arms. And they don't get that part. They don't. And it's crazy because it happens every day in life in society. Today, tomorrow, the next day, next 10 years is going to happen. But the key to the bag is how to be self and be grateful and stay in your lane. That's the reason why I wanted that topic. Because at the end of the day, Katt right now, we could be on here right now as we speak. And next week or tomorrow, she might be like, hey, I made $2.5 million. Prince ain't going to get mad about Katt making $2.5 million. I'm going to applaud Katt for making 2.5. Don P can say, I got another book that just went out. I'm making $1 billion. Or I just bought a yacht. You feel me? You see the book. Make sure you subscribe and get the book. Hit the .com. So the thing about it is, everybody has a blessing that's going to come. You have to stay focused. If somebody want to switch up, forgive them, love them unconditionally. But they mean they don't supposed to be in your life. Some people still could be in your life. That doesn't mean everybody. But you have to pay attention. Rule number 1, always pay attention of your surroundings. I teach this to my kids right now.
The patterns.
It's the patterns. And it's the little things that be right in your face. And you be like, oh, I ain't worried about that. But at the end of the day, you should be worried about that because you're getting all the keys to your bag to show you who this individual really is. And you're not taking key notes to it. And you blowing it off like, they ain't nothing but a little lint on my shoulder. It's okay. Until it really hit, then you like, how did this happen? Because you never paid attention, staying in your lane and following the patterns, like Katt said. So when you understand all the acknowledgments that you have seen and what you're trying to transpire it with, then you start seeing things on a different elevation. Like, okay, I see this and the third. Now let me pause myself. Now what I'm going to do to correct these things, to have an understanding. I know what's going on. I see it sometimes, and it's crazy to say this. Some people don't even know they have patterns, and it's the truth. They don't know they do certain things, and that another person can see it. Like, listen, you've been doing the same thing until you open up their conscience. They're like, man, are you serious? Yes, but what are you willing to do to change it now? You wonder where your mistakes at, but you never learn how to correct your mistakes because it's been so immune to you that you never seen the patterns that you was doing in the first place.
Now, it's interesting that we play so close to the fire that we're not afraid to get burned. So there is a moment where that somebody has to come and put some water on this bad boy to save your life instead of interfere. Now, it's interesting perspective. You know, I'm trying to be philosophical over here. Is that there comes a point where that everybody has to come to a self-awareness that, like, who are you? Who are you really? Like, because Katt is winning doesn't mean it's my time to win, but when it's my time, it's my time. The congratulation part where Prince stated on having an attitude of gratitude, it's also a point of like, it's a reason why they're winning. And there is a point where every successful person always says success leaves
It's their season. It's their season.
Yeah.
True.
You know, so when there's a season, there's always a reason. And there's always a clue of how you can get their own, to get in that same position. The whole point is you're rushing a process that's a process. You know what I mean? So in the book, Belief is Everything, available on Amazon and Audible right now, there's a section in there that I teach in the course in regards of where most people's failure comes from. It's not because they don't have the skill. They ain't got nothing to do with it. It's not because they don't understand the actual outcome. What 99% I've not seen, I've consulted some of the most richest, well-off, consistent, successful people on the street level, then on the corporate level, all continuously said, plus me experiencing myself, was lack of trusting the process. Lack of trusting the process to get to the level that you belong at when the time is right. It's staying in your lane long enough to get to the freaking land. Like, what the freak is the problem of y'all folks want to drive here, drive there, when your lane was already clear? You might have had one car in front, but guess what? They about to get off on the next exit. Yet, you so impatient, so in a hurry, you try and go around, but it's a whole nother car coming back at you, and boom.
But hold on, Don P. Hold on. The question is, why would you rush a process to get part of success?
Well, if you're talking about the industry, that comes from watching what other people are doing and watching other people's successes. And then we're going to go back to the fact of area. I always bring this up, but this has so much to do, especially with the women. You have to find out what works well for you.
There you go. That's
your home girl. Okay. And it takes work, because at the end of the day, this is a real job. People, it may try to make you believe that it's all fun and games and it's recreation, but it really takes some real work, because if you're going to be a person that's going to be traveling and going around, what works for one person may not work for you. Just because your homegirl makes a lot of money in Miami at a certain place, you might have to go somewhere else to find your success. You can't, in this industry, you cannot follow behind somebody else. You really have to find your own way, because this person could be the greatest thing in the world in Milwaukee. And then they go to Florida and they have a problem. And her homegirl that she was working with might not be anybody at the place where they were at in Milwaukee, but when they go to Florida, she's a star. It depends. It really has everything to do with, yes, the process. Yes, it does. But finding the process and finding out what works best for you.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't even know. If you want to go into exotic entertainment, we can have a conversation, especially with females. A lot of us don't even know what kind of dancers we are. They don't know if you're an exotic dancer, if you're a nude dancer, if you're a topless dancer, whatever. You don't even know what works best for you. Some people can work and do topless dancing and be great, and some people can go and be a nude dancer and blow things out the water. Everything's not the same. There's so many different aspects to exotic entertainment. You have to find what works best for you.
And you know what's crazy, Katt, about that? It's the same with males. It's different opportunities. You could be a hip hop dancer, you could be a exotic dancer, or you could just be a male entertainer. Exactly. And like, I do all three. But like you said, the one thing I love that you said was, what you might do in Milwaukee, you might be the head star in Milwaukee, but this person might be the head star in Miami. It's just like I tell guys, when you go to like female clubs, it's like, I might like one with this thick. You might like somebody that's skinny. You might like a blonde. I might like a lady with curly hair. Everybody had their own perspective of what they like, you know. And the one thing that I love that you said is this one. Y'all both know this one. This is like the golden rule of the year of ages. If one jump off a bridge, you gonna jump off a bridge too?
Mm-hmm.
No, you're not. Because the first thing you're gonna think about, I ain't got no parachute. Why am I jumping off this bridge for?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to understand, you have to do what's right for you. I can learn something from you, but that don't mean I can critique everything that you have done for yourself. But I can have certain parts that make work for me. You know what? I can take a little bit of this apple, I can take a little bit of this orange from this person and make my own garden. So the thing is, a lot of people are like, well, he did like this, I can do it like that. No, you have to find self. What makes you you? That's what you have to find out. You can learn something from somebody, but everything that you learn doesn't mean that everything is right. As I like to tell people, if everything's so right, what would be left? You still have to figure out you. Nah, Pete.
And it's just funny. It was, well, you know, I had to give y'all one quick thing that the All News Aerobics Hit Dance Aerobics class is coming September 6th.
Hey.
Ran and hosted by your boy Prince Fantasy. You know, I can't help it but to tell y'all what's good going on. See, the thing is, behind every good thing, there's always a great thing.
True.
You know, staying in your lane, you know, focusing on and understanding who you really are. Like the whole point is understanding self. That's the mastery. That's a part of the 6 daily habits to achieve greatness. Shameless plug.
Okay.
Is mastering self. Understanding that everything starts with self. Your health, it starts with self. Your strong relationships start with self. Your spiritual growth starts with self. Your financial growth starts with self. Your business growth starts with self. So how can
And another thing I was going to say, Prince, they get too involved in the club situations. They get too involved. You know, people always going to gossip. It's always going to be drama. People in your business, yes. But I think a lot of it also has to do with stay out the way. Keep it moving. If you don't get so involved with the people in that club. If you really look at it as it's a job and those people come there to, you know, have entertainment, you'll stay away and stay clear of a lot of that.
Yes.
My little answer to that was the great thing about being in certain areas and being working in the type of clubs that I have a tendency to try to work in, like the bigger, more fast-paced clubs, so it ain't even no whole bunch of time to even be talking and all that, because I can't do that. I'm not no real stripper like that. I have always been that way. Like, I never like to have a lot of conversation and whatever. I just always just like to go in, get to it, and by the end of the night, it was more like a nightclub type of situation. I think that's one way for women to stay out of a lot of drama. And also, don't be dating these people.
That's true.
That's true. If you are, if you do date somebody, then somebody gonna have to come out. Yeah, that's another. That's the thing for another. But if you're gonna date inside of the club and stuff like that, then somebody will have to leave. Either that person is gonna have to stop being a customer there, or you're gonna have to move and work somewhere else because it's too much.
It ain't gonna work. Yeah, that's another subject. That's another subject.
That's another subject. But I had to hit on that because we were talking about how, you know, avoid, you know, certain things, how to stay in your lane and all of that.
But
go to work, get your money, and stop getting emotionally involved with these people.
You cannot. Like, I tell the guys that all the time. Like, okay, it's cool to be cool with people, but when you start like intercoursing with people, you got a whole different ball game.
A whole different ball game.
It is one of y'all got to leave, because at the end of the day, you're gonna mess up your money.
Oh yeah.
Or for two, you're gonna mess up your money. I mean, ain't no way around it. But at the same time, is if you try to reach success and you're gonna deal with this person, y'all have to have that communication. Listen, you know what I do for a living, right? Now, I know this is how you met me, but understand what I'm trying to get to. This is my 9 to 5 right now. Now, once this is over with, I'm trying to reach another elevation of goals. If you're with it, you're with it. But you can't be messing up my bag. Either you can be there or you can't be there. That means if you're going to be there, I have to go somewhere else. If I'm going to be there, you cannot be there with me, because now you're going to be emotionally involved for the wrong reasons. And now we have a problem.
And as humans, it's very, very hard, because even as a entertainer, once you start caring and loving someone or whatever, you don't want them to see certain things. And I've always told people that I've dealt with, or my friends that work in the industry or whatever, when you start liking somebody or whatever, you don't want them to see certain things, and they don't want to see certain things. Yeah, keep the drama down. Keep their ass out the club.
But listen,
you take your ass somewhere else. It's just that simple. Because not even with that, even if it's not between y'all, because our business is so competitive, you've now put a target on your back.
It's true.
For your competition, because now they're gonna come at you.
Yes, most certainly. And they be sitting back in the cut waiting. They be like
cut,
this.
waiting to attack.
And it's crazy you said that, because I was in love with a stripper. But anyway, so what wound up happening was, it's funny about this story, because when I was meeting ladies as being an entertainer, they said, how do you do it? How are you able to do the things that you're doing and have a spouse? You don't think they would feel some type of way? Once upon a time, I couldn't answer that question. But when I fell in love with a stripper, I could answer that question, because I'm like, well, I've been there and I've done it. I said, it takes a lot of energy to be humble behind that. And you understand this. If this is how you met this person, you have to understand, this is how they make their money. This is how they pay their bills. So once you try to get them to try to stop, that means you're trying to control the person for your own personal usage. You can't do that. Because now this person stopped. Now you got a whole, like you said, you're going to have a headbang. You're all going to bump heads. So the thing is, either you're going to be there to respect it, or one of y'all going to have to leave. Only thing that's different about me, I was able to stay there and understand it, because I could stomach it, because I understood, hey, this is what I do.
Because you were an entertainer. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. But guess what? Vice versa. Oh, hell no. Excuse my French, but she wasn't expecting it. When I did it, she's like, no, you have to quit. I said, we're in the same field. So like you said, either one person gonna have to be there and the other one have to leave, or it's gonna be vice versa. It can't be both. It can't be both.
Can't be both. It's just I think it's just human nature, the human psyche, the way that we're made up. I think you're putting too much pressure on your relationship to try to sustain that. So I'm glad we hit on that topic, because if I can give any advice, if you are, which you really should not, but if something happens where you really meet somebody and you like them, take it out of that atmosphere, out of that club, out of that club. And
I was gonna say this, and stay out of other people's business. If it ain't your business, stay up out of other people's business. Exactly. And that's another thing. It's a big trick. Everybody want to be nosy. You know what you have to be focused on. You have to focus on what you need to do, and you do not get into other people's business, because now you'll still mess up your money. Now you have extra drama in which you didn't plan on having. And that's the whole thing about staying in your lane. Don't worry about what such, or just like you have, like you said, you got people that come support other people. So when these people come support other people, they feel some type of way. So when they feel they type of way, they're like, oh, well, this person not doing this person not doing that. So now they feel more vulnerable. You feel like, well, I can go ahead and provide for you any necessities that you need. But at the same time, this is not the person you're supposed to deal with. So now you have a whole nother source of drama coming in, and the first thing you're gonna say is, why me? Mm-hmm. But you should have stayed in your lane.
Mm-hmm. You should have stayed in your lane. Yeah, and oh my gosh, you hit with the stay out of people's business. Definitely stay out of people's business, because there's too much transition in this industry. Mm-hmm. You guys could be enemies, so-called enemies, with a person 1 month, and the next month the whole dynamic or the whole energy of the place that you're working at changes, and you all have to come together, or you come together and realize, you know what, we work better together with this, any circumstances. Exactly. So at the end of the day, stay neutral, do your job. And when it comes to certain situations, know that we're there for money and to get ahead. And even your closest friends, your closest partners, like whatever. When people have to make a decision between themselves and their progress and you really have to be a person that knows who you are to make the right decision that's not going to hurt someone else. People
Correct.
are selfish. Human beings are innately self-preservation. And especially when you put in this dynamic of ego, of vanity, and money. Because when you get into any industry where you're dealing with people competing on a physical level, you have, I've met some of the most beautiful, ugly people in my life. I mean, their behavior was, oh, wow.
I have as well. I have.
Wow. If some people I would look at and be like, you know what? Just sit there, baby. Just be beautiful. Don't open your mouth. Because once you open your mouth and say something, I mean, it's over.
It's over.
Like, for real. You so nasty and your energy is so horrible and ugly on the inside. Don't say nothing. And you know what? That goes back to certain areas why you'll have certain girls that'll be extremely beautiful and wonder why they don't make that much money.
That's
because
true.
depending on the clientele and the area, if the clientele is more inclined to like nicer people or personable people or whatever, they have hard times in those clubs because a lot of them have attitude problems, and they'll be wondering like, how she make more money? How this and I know how that. Well, in this particular area, they put more emphasis on personality than they do in physical appearance. I tell a lot of women, if you don't have a good personality, whatever, stay in the bigger clubs. Stay in the areas, like I said, where you don't have to have a whole lot of personal interaction with that person. You just turn up.
That's it.
You know what I mean? They don't get to really tell you the music's too loud anyway. Just be fine and turn that ass up and do what you want to do. But don't be
as you said. All they I do is shh.
Don't say nothing, man. Don't say nothing.
Just smile and keep it pushing and work. That's all you got to do. Like I used to say, it's sometimes better not to say anything at all than have to say something at all.
Right. And that goes back to what we're talking about, the different kind of places and knowing where you need to be at and where you need to work. You might not be a person that needs to work in a gentleman club type of atmosphere because you don't have that type of personality.
And I feel like, it's vice versa with males. I see males that work out every day and they like, well, I'm big and I got a body and I got money and this and third. That doesn't mean anything, bro.
Right.
It's about, like, I like to say it. I don't usually say personality. I like to say a vibe. I like being a vibe. When a person see me walk in the room, they like, hey, that's Prince. What we gonna do? Hey, what's going on? We're gonna turn up. We're gonna have fun. Because like I like to tell people, your energy gonna set the tone for the room. If you're a person that's arrogant, you already know you'll get drama. You're gonna get BS. You're gonna have people scared, fear. But when you a person with a vibe, everybody want to come dance, have fun. They forget it, like you said. It's like a nightclub. It's not like you come to see me. It's a vibe. It's all fun. You're gonna have something to talk for. Like I tell people, what makes you successful is the memories that you build with people. And that's a memory that a person will always remember. Like, I remember I went to go see Prince, this and third, and we just had so much fun. And I remember we used to go to other people's stuff, and you got to always remember who you are as an individual and know what you're coming to do. And once you understand that, you got to stay focused. And the main thing, I have to say this. You cannot be a puppet while you're trying to go through your lane. You have so many people that will try to make decisions for you, and so you make a decision for self.
Right.
And that's the main key where I have to hit this topic where you see everything you want to do and you know the work that you have to do. Stay focused. You're going to have moms trying to tell you, pop say, listen, I need to put the groceries, this and third. But as I stated, that's another topic. Stay in your lane, and we appreciate y'all.
Stay in your lane.
That's Katt Dc on Prince Fantasy, and that's Don P. Keys to the bag. We love you. Mwah. Subscribe and take your vitamins too.